is happening, and whether or not it's malevolent, or I guess why? What is the interest in human beings?
All right, this is a long story. They are happening. It is not malevolent, though it may not contain the emotional component that most humans require for comfort. The analogy might be, on a simple level, that if you know a child needs to see a doctor, but they are afraid, but you know it's for their benefit, then they will be taken anyway, regardless of how they feel. The idea here is to understand that there is something very large going on. It involves humanity, and it involves humanity from a parallel reality. The beings that you refer to, in general, that are most often associated with the so-called detainment or abduction or contact phenomena, this idea is that they are mutated humans from a parallel version of Earth. They destroyed their version of Earth. They needed to mutate themselves in order to thrive to a certain point, but use their advanced technology to shift into parallel realities such as yours, where they would find viable human DNA that would allow them to perpetuate their civilization, because the destruction of their world had caused them to have the inability to reproduce, and they were dying out.
Right.
Because of the mutation, they appear to you to be extraterrestrial. They are not. They are simply humans from another parallel version of Earth that have come to your version of Earth and other versions of Earth to gather human DNA to create hybrid species, such as my own civilization, in order to perpetuate their culture and survive. In return, as a gift, for the gift you have given them and us for our existence, we assist you by giving you information that ideally would prevent your culture from going down the same destructive path that their culture went down, so that you don't have to experience the same thing that they did. That is the short version of the story.
That's a lot. And so, but abductions are still happening now. I mean,
not so much, although some do still continue, but that agenda has gone into a different phase of acclimation. So now the hybrids that have been created are temporarily, from time to time, brought to Earth in secret, allowed to learn what human society is all about, so they can learn to adapt, for eventually they will come to live among you when you are ready for it and they are ready for it. But for now, they are being trained to understand the differences between your human society and their society. They are now raised mostly on ships, but many humans in what you call dream time, or asleep or awake, are brought aboard the ships, either physically or altered in a physical reality that is slightly off from yours, to teach the children, instruct the children, to allow them to learn to interact, to teach them the ways of Earth, as they also teach those humans the ways of the hybrid children that will eventually come to live among you. This is all part of the agenda of the evolution of humanity into what we call the sixth hybrid race.
The sixth hybrid race.
We are the third hybrid race. There are two before us, and there are two after us, forming 5 hybrid races. Humanity on Earth is evolving into the sixth hybrid race as a part of its natural evolution, its natural ability to raise its frequency, its vibration, and become part of the galactic family in earnest.
But do we have enough time? Because I mean, we've really ballsed up this planet. We've made a lot of mistakes, and I mean, like, is it going to be a rapid transition between the 4th, the 5th to the 6th?
There is something that we must explain to you about the idea of time and the idea of the Earth that you are now experiencing. Many people are of the idea that you change the planet you're on. You don't. The planet you're on never changes. You change yourself, your frequency, and you shift to another parallel version of Earth that is already more representative and reflective of the change in frequency you made within yourself. You're doing this constantly without even knowing it. We are shifting all right now, billions, literally billions of times per second. What scientists on your planet have called the idea of Planck time is the so-called tick of the clock of physical reality. You are shifting 10 to the 43rd power every second to different parallel versions of Earth, but doing it so smoothly you think you're on the same Earth you were on a moment ago. You are not. So the idea is to navigate this shifting by raising your frequency, by becoming more expanded in your awareness, so that you're constantly shifting yourself in the direction of more and more versions of Earth that are more like the versions you prefer to experience. Not everyone on your planet will do that. Some of them will go to alternate versions. Right now, you can still perceive each other because you still have the ability and free will to choose among all the different pathways that people on your planet are choosing. Positive, negative, neutral, what have you. But eventually, as you keep choosing in the direction of your preference, in the years to come, you will no longer be capable of perceiving the people that have chosen diametrically opposing paths, or ones that are simply no longer vibrationally compatible with what you prefer. And the only world you will experience will be the world where only the similar vibrations to your own will be able to be experienced by you, and similar vibrations to the other paths will be able to be experienced by them, but you will never meet in physical reality in that way again. You will meet in spirit, but not in physical reality, because you will have chosen different versions of parallel realities to play out the Earth game. So,
Yep.
to more specifically address your idea, yes, there is time for those that choose to take the actions, the physical actions on your planet that would be representative of the kind of world that you choose, that you prefer to experience. So taking those actions is of paramount importance to represent, to show through physical actions, which is the language of physical reality, what kind of a world you do wish to shift to more and more and more. And therefore there is always enough time if those people taking those actions will take them when they truly are moved to take them. They will then have enough time because they will create the time in the new world. They will create a shifting scenario that will bring with it enough time. Those that don't choose to take those actions will run out of the perceived idea of time and will experience possible devastations, similar to what the Greys experienced before they mutated.
Okay. So first contact is coming. I believe that
First contact is happening.
That's
That's why you're
now.
talking with us.
Oh, that's happening right now. I mean, first contact on a mass scale where all of humanity is made aware that there are extraterrestrials.
All of humanity who shifts to the version of Earth that is open to the idea of contact. Those that do not shift there will not experience it.
When would this occur for those people?
The highest probability that we sense in the energy, the collective energy, at this point, is that there may be a large contact event sometime around the end of your year of 2026 or the beginning of your year of 2027. This does not mean that open contact will occur everywhere at once. But we sense in your energy that there will be certain circumstances and situations on your planet that will bring about a requirement that some form of contact event will occur around that time and be relatively evident to most individuals on your planet.
So
this will change the mindset of your world sufficiently so that those choosing to accelerate in a more positive direction toward the idea of more open contact can do so, and the others may decide for themselves what they wish to do in relation to that event.
So a lot of people will watch this interview, and a lot of people will want to know what can they do so that they can evolve alongside us to be part of that collective in 2026.
This is where we give you the information that we refer to as the formula, the instruction manual, or the cosmic compass, for it is literally a boiled down depiction, a boiled down description of how physical reality is created by your consciousness. And knowing this consciously is like following an instruction manual that will allow you more conscious control over the direction in which you navigate. The formula, as you say, in a nutshell, though we're not completely certain why you always stuff these things into nutshells, is, number one, to act on your highest passion every moment that you can. Number two, act on it for as long as you can, to the best of your ability, until you can act on it no further, at which point look around for the next thing that you are capable of acting on that represents the highest form of excitement or passion in your life. Number three, to act on that passion with absolutely zero assumption or insistence on what the outcome should look like, because the truth is you have no idea what the ideal outcome actually needs to look like. Number four, remain in a positive state no matter what manifests, even if it's something you don't prefer, because if you remain in a positive state, you will always be able to use whatever manifests, even if it's not something you prefer, to your benefit, because staying in the positive state will allow you to see and be inspired by what has happened in a way that will take you in a positive direction. Right. Number five, finally, examine your belief systems and let go of the negative and fear-based ones and the definitions that don't work for you, because you are the creator of your reality. Now, why is it important to act on your passion? Many people have said this kind of phrase in your reality, but not many have explained why that works and why it's important. People on your planet say, yes, follow your dreams, act on your bliss, follow your passion. But why? It works like this. You have a physical mind as a physical being, but you also have a non-physical higher mind as a spirit. These two things exist simultaneously. In fact, spirit is your natural state. This physical reality, in a sense, is just a dream that your spirit is having. So when you bifurcate the idea of your consciousness into a non-physical higher mind, higher frequency that is, and a physical mind of slightly lower frequency, you need the higher mind to guide you. It's like having someone standing on a mountaintop guiding you through a valley. They can see what the pitfalls are and can tell you, turn left, turn right, don't go there, you'll fall down a hole. The physical mind needs to pay attention to this in order to be guided properly. But the physical mind has free will and can ignore this guidance if it so chooses, to its own detriment usually. But the idea is that the higher mind communicates in energy. It doesn't use words. It may use pictures, images, and energy. The way the physical body and the physical mind interprets a message from the higher mind that comes to you in energy is through the sensation you call passion, excitement, creativity, love. So when you act on your highest passion, on the circumstances and situations and opportunities that present themselves to you synchronistically in life that contain more excitement than any other option at that moment, you are actually paying attention to the higher mind saying, this is you. This is the next step on your path. This is the guidance that you're asking for. This is your sign. And therefore, when you act on it, you are responding to the higher mind, saying, all right, I heard you. I am willing to understand this is the guidance you are giving me. And when you do that and are willing to act, because again, action is the language of physical reality, not words, not thoughts, actions. When you are willing to act on that passion, you have told the higher mind you are willing to listen to it, and the higher mind can then send you more opportunities that contain passion and excitement and creativity for you to act on. But if you're not willing to act on what the higher mind has already sent you, why should it send you more opportunities that contain excitement? Because you're not going to act on them. So you have to start the ball and the dialogue rolling by being willing to trust that that is the guidance coming from your higher mind to tell you exactly what the next step in your life is. And we understand that for many humans, this may be confusing and difficult because it may seem that what excites you has absolutely nothing at all to do with the things that can support you in life or what it was you were doing a moment ago.
Right.
But it is the excitement that is the connective thread that lets you know it is connected, even if your physical mind can't figure out how it's connected. You have to trust that the path of excitement is the thread to follow, that is the true path for you and representative of the true core vibration of your being.
Wow.
And remember, this is not a philosophy. This is literally a description, like an instruction manual, for how reality is created as an experience in physical reality. So the idea is, if you have an instruction manual to build a piece of machinery, you follow the instructions. If you don't follow the instructions, well, maybe the machine will work and maybe it won't work to your advantage, or maybe you will injure yourself if it does work at all. But by following this, and again, this is not an insistence. You can do whatever you wish. You have free will. You don't have to pay attention to us. This works for us. We know it can work for you because it has worked for many people in your society, just as it works for us. Our society operates on pure synchronism. We are always at the right place at the right time, being exactly who we need to be, being of assistance to those around us exactly when they need us to be. This can happen on your world as well. Following the instructions is simply a way of understanding we are literally describing the structure of existence and how it operates. So if you follow it, you will find that reality will reflect to your advantage a very smooth and effortless path through life that is joyful, creative, constructive. Of course you will have challenges. That's how you grow. But challenges don't mean you have to struggle or suffer in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
I had nothing to do with it, but you're welcome.